So Brian, take it away, my friend.
Hey guys, I'm glad, Justin, that you're here. Chris, I'm glad you're here too. Justin, I've known for, 12 years now. And Chris, it was a pleasure to meet you the way we did. Both of you are newer agents or, recently licensed and getting going. And the reason I am glad you're here to see this is because I think it's going to be challenging in real estate brokerage for the next 5 years. Everybody hears about these prices going up and you tell them you have a real estate license and they assume that you're making a fortune. The challenge here is a year ago, we had close to 1 million listings a month in this country. Today, we have 275,000 listings. So that means there's going to be 250,000 closings this month across the country. That's 500 sides, meaning that's only 500,000 chances you have to make money. Okay, well, that's fine. That sounds like a lot of people. Well, there's 1.6 million members of the National Association of Realtors. And I think there's something like 350,000 of them here right in Florida. So it's pretty tough. If you're not controlling listings and you're working with buyers, I've been on the buy side of real estate for 25 years through both mortgages and brokerage. And being on the buy side today is just really difficult. You'll find a buyer, you'll show them 20 houses, you'll have 4 offers in, you'll get beat out, you'll show them another 20 houses, and you'll go on for 4 months before you actually earn any money. And that's a problem. Whereas if you're listing and selling property, just about everything is listing if you price it right. Everything that's listing is getting sold. So what we want to show to you is a program that is working in California that we're rolling out here in Florida. It is leveling the playing field so that a new agent can perform at the same level of Carlos Gutierrez in San Diego, who's the #2 guy in eXp Realty, made $2 million last year and closed over 100 million in real estate. And how he does it is he gets on the phone in the mornings and he cold calls expired listings for sale by owners and for rent by owners. And by doing those 3 things, he's able to produce at a super high level. So what's the difference between him and you? He's got experience and he's been doing this for 15 years. However, with this Home Boss online offers program, it gives you an opportunity to compete against all the big producers and beat them. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to kind of one of the godfathers of the Home Boss program, Robert Weichelt, who's my friend in San Diego. And he was our scheduled guest, but as you guys know, the weather in Dallas made it so that he couldn't attend in person. Robert?
I would have ended up showing up this morning.
Yes.
That would have been kind of brutal. So thanks for having me on, Brian. I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate all of you jumping on, Lori, Chris, Justin, everybody else. I want to go over a couple of things that you mentioned. Get my fair share. You're going to see a platform that I'm getting more than my fair share. I'm taking more bites at the apple than most of the other agents. So I'm definitely unleveling that playing field, and you're going to see why in a second. You talked about prospecting. This is a contact sport. Sales is a contact sport. And we need to make as many contacts as possible. And we contact FSBOs, expired, cancels, probate, divorce. Lori knows this. She goes out and contacts as many agents and lenders as absolutely possible. If she only went into one real estate office, that would not be making all the contacts she needs to make in a workday. So she knows that better than anybody. And the reason why I bring that up, Lori, is I started in the title business in 1986. I was a title rep here in California and elevated my game from 1986 to 1990 in the title space and became the #1 title rep in the state of California, which was awesome. And I thought, oh, I'm Mr. Big Time. Let's get out of that and go into lending. So I became a lender from 1990 to 2005. And if anyone was around in 2005, you know what was happening in that market. So I was selling real estate and owned a mortgage company from 1990 to 2005. Decided to put down my mortgage originator tool belt and just focus primarily on the REO market. in the early 2000s. And now we're currently in the market we're seeing right now. What I'm going to share with you today is a platform that we've been using with just huge success. Our agents across the country, from Florida, Hawaii, and every single city across America, and having just large amounts of success with it. Like I mentioned, getting our fair share. There's not a FSBO expired or canceled that you cannot have list with you once you know and understand this program. Like Brian mentioned, we're rolled out in just about every single state across America. We did have it approved in Florida, and now we have a new broker of record, and she's sifting through it to make sure, because each broker of record has the say on the platform. It is unique. It is a game changer. It's definitely a disruptor, and it makes just perfect sense once you really know how to use it. So I'm going to dive right into it. I'm going to share my screen. If you guys could just go ahead and mute yourself so we don't have any background noise. Certainly put your questions in the chat box. A lot of times I'm the kind of guy that I've got a lot of things going on. I see something I really like, and then I see something else I really like, and I'll forget what I liked before that. So I encourage you to write it down. Do the old-fashioned notepad, or go into the chat box and put your questions in the chat box so you don't forget them. Just know that we'll go through it at the end, and we'll answer those questions till we're done here. The presentation takes about 30 minutes, and it's my listing presentation, sprinkled in with some, for presentation purposes, some reminders of things I like to talk about to the audience. But for the most part, it's my listing presentation that I go through every seller every day. 99% of my listings are all done using Zoom. So I'm taking listings all over the state of California. I'm licensed in California. EXP is obviously one company, and we're in all states, Canada, probably, we're all over the globe, but let's focus just on the United States. So I primarily work the California market. And I wanted to bring that out to Brian, who I've known for many years, and just as a stand-up guy. And I want to, reach out to agents that he wants to, introduce to this platform. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go over the Home Boss presentation. And this is what this is exactly what you'll see me. If you were on a Zoom call with me, with a seller, this is exactly what you'll see with me when I go over it. So again, my name is Robert Weichelt. I'm a broker associate and certified mentor with EXP. My contact information is right there. Should you have any questions, you want to reach out, get a one-on-one call, come to some of our trainings, that's fine. But let's get started. And I always like to start off with this one slide. It just cracks me up. If anything else, it gets me in that positive mode. When I first started public speaking, my dad always told me, start off with a joke, start off with something funny, build that rapport through laughter. And I'm a big baseball fan. And, Yogi Berra has some of the best quotes ever, been published. Yogi Berra quoted, "The future ain't what it used to be." And that's so real estate. Real estate changes so much. And some of you are going to get that the future ain't what it used to be. And they're going to go, "Oh, I get it." But my point is, the future, it's the real estate market is changing at warp speed, and we need to make sure that we're rolling with that. I always like to bring up an example, and Brian mentioned prospecting. I equate that to a baseball player taking his at-bats. He's walking up to the plate. He may go up there and he may strike out. Then he goes back to the dugout, and you got to shake it off, and you got to go back up there when it's your turn again, and you got to go take another hack. Now, if anybody knows anything about baseball, they know who Reggie Jackson is, Mr. October, the home run king. Everybody knows him for all his success. But what people don't know is Reggie Jackson has the most strikeouts in Major League history. Sure, he has more home runs than most every Major League Baseball player out there, known for hitting the most home runs, especially when it counts in October in the World Series. But he has the most strikeouts in Major League history. That's a big feat. Can you imagine if he went up there and struck out a couple of times like normal agents do when talking to for sale by owners or expireds or canceleds, I've called a for sale by owner once before, it didn't work out. Can you imagine if Reggie Jackson went up and struck out and said, yeah, baseball's not for me? So I always like to bring that up because what Brian said earlier, prospecting, this is a contact sport. We need to get out there and take our hacks. So with that said, we're going to talk about today the now business, because I'm a big fan of working in today's market. So many people say, well, what's the next market? Well, let's work on the market you're in and then position yourself for the next market. Make sense? So the now business, are you taking 2 to 3 listings each and every week? If you're not, we're going to go over how you can. How to get a 6% listing by charging the seller what they've already agreed to pay the buyer agent. For example, for sale by owners do not want to list with us for really one reason and one reason only. They don't want to pay a commission. So if we could show that for sale by owner, a way that the buyer can pay for their own agent, do you think they would be more up to listen to you? I think they will. So we're going to show you a way how we're taking listings really anytime we want. So we're definitely unleveling the playing field in that regard. We're going to talk a little bit about the future business, and that future business is REO. I don't know how many have been in the experienced the REO market. Last time I was in the REO market in the 90s, and then again in the early 2000s. The future business will certainly be REO. When it comes here, we don't really know. I'm hearing from different, experts in that market of anywhere between 18 and 24 months before we start seeing an REO market. So the question is this: how are you going to position yourself for the REO market? The REO market comes, and next thing you know, it's here. I like to equate it to a train pulling into the station. You kind of see it in the movies. The train's coming into the station. All these trained and certified and vetted REO brokers get on that train, and then it leaves the train station, right? So it's chugging on down the tracks. It's getting its momentum. And once that train starts to leave the station, it's very hard to catch up. Just like in the movies when you see people running for that train. REO is exactly the same. So we need to be positioned and ready. So when it does come, we are a participant, not just a spectator. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we're really going to focus on the now business because we've got a lot of opportunity in front of us. We're going to touch base on the iBuyer. We have an incredible opportunity with our team, and you can certainly go pull up homebossoffers.com and check it out. But we have an iBuyer program that rivals that of Opendoor, OfferPad, any other investor that you'll ever come across, because there's a lot of sellers out there. Number one, they think they want a cash offer, and that's certainly fine, but cash offer doesn't always net the most amount of money for the sellers. Sellers that are looking for cash are really saying, hey, I'm looking for ease of use. I don't want a whole bunch of contingencies. I don't want a buyer that's contingent on selling their home. I don't want to, have to deal with an appraisal or a buyer's loan or those types of things. So that's what they mean by wanting a cash offer. So if we have a cash offer solution, we at least have a conversation at the table with that seller that thinks they want a cash offer. And if they get an Opendoor and OfferPad, you're looking at anywhere between 7 and 13% in fees. And usually that cash offer is substantially lower than market. That's why sellers get paid 100% of appraised value, which is an opinion, versus the market value, which is the actual value of a property an able and willing buyer will pay. I'm going to touch base a little bit on the iBuyer program and how it works. Our sellers are getting 100% of appraised value. So we're certainly competing with Opendoor and OfferPad at a very high level. But remember, we're keeping in the conversation with that seller that thinks they want a cash offer, number one. Number two, if somebody comes to you and says, Robert, I want to sell my home, but I'm a little concerned that I won't be able to find a replacement home. I'm concerned that every time I'm writing offers, I'm getting outbid or I'm not getting accepted because I'm a contingent buyer, contingent upon selling their property. So we can sell their property, that's no problem. It's where are they going to go? I don't know that they want to go live in a hotel or a motorhome or anything like that. They want to go from one home to the next. What this program does allows these sellers to get 100% of appraised value, and they can rent back up to 12 months while they go out and find a relocation home. But the best part of it is we get to remove that buyer contingency. We get to remove that buyer contingency and be more competitive with the other offers that are being presented to this future set those sellers. So I just want to touch base a little bit on that. And if you have any questions on the iBuyer program, this gets us in the conversation. But I'm going to show you how our platform, we can pivot away from that seller that thinks they want an all cash offer, and we can pivot to our online offers platform. And I'm going to show you that in a second. So one thing that has always been the same with sellers, they want the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassles and liability and expense. Let's go over this for a second. I've never met a seller that said, Robert, if you can bring me the lowest price, that would be great. They always want the highest and best price. They also want it done in the shortest amount of time. Cash offers, the reason why a lot of sellers want cash, or at least they think they do, is because they think they're getting the highest price, but they're the convenience of getting it in the shortest amount of time because they've got to be somewhere. Least amount of hassle. Traditional real estate basically dictates that random showings will go on. A showing on Tuesday, a showing on Wednesday. Sellers, if they're living in their home, they need to make the beds. They need to get the kids organized. They need to get the pets organized. It's just not a very convenient way to show a home. And what we do is we do Saturday and Sunday open houses. So it's just a 1 or 2 day showing, depending on what the convenience of the seller is. But the hassle is virtually eliminated. A quick story. I had a seller that was an expired, and sure, he wants the highest price. Sure, he wants to pay the least amount of money, but the hassle of selling the home the traditional way was the biggest thing for him. And when that listing expired, when I told him about the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of hassle, he goes, wait, tell me about the hassle. He would, during his previous listing, he would buff out his wood floors, and every time before the showing, because he really took great pride in putting these floors in. So every time before showings, he would get those floors buffed out. It only took a couple of buyers to not show up after spending that amount of time getting those floors buffed out to know that that was not for him. The listing expired. I explained our 1 day or 2 day, whichever works best for the seller, open house method, and he was sold. So we're going to touch base on that. Now, because before, in the past, we've only really had 2 options to sell a property. The cash offer that, like I mentioned, which is, certainly a convenient way to go. 10 days done. A lot of times the contingencies are reduced greatly. There's no loan contingency. It's just a really quick, no fuss, simple process. However, that's not netting the sellers the most amount of money. The traditional sale is, like I mentioned, where there's random showings. It's the listing agent just putting it in the MLS and just letting God sort it out. Let the buyer agents go out there and promote the house, have maybe a couple of open houses and do a bunch of random showings. What we've done is we've come to a fork in the road. We're going to take it. And what we do is we have a third option. It's the online offers platform. There's still cash, which I mentioned. We have an iBuyer platform that's very competitive for those sellers that think or absolutely want a cash offer. We can certainly do a traditional way, but we found a better way. We found a way to list and sell homes, getting those sellers the highest and best price through an online offers platform that's transparent, and I'll show you. It's done in 14 days or less, so we're reducing the amount of time, because holding time is a killer for sellers because they want to get their home done and get it paid off so they can get to their next transaction. So what we have here is it's a simple process of typical real estate. Starts at the top. The seller will list their home for 10, 15 above what they really want, 10, 15% above what they really want. And then what they'll do is they'll price it higher than what they want with the idea to negotiate down. And the buyers always try to come up they'll come low and come up, and where that win-win situation is typically how traditional real estates work. What we do is we start at 15% below market, allow that massive traffic to enter the open house. And I'll show you a quick example. We start at 15% below, and we start the online offers, transparent bidding, and we start it up, and we let the buyers transparently bid against each other with no ceiling. And oftentimes we're driving that price well above what the seller's expectations are. And I've got one that ended last night. We had 51 offers, and we drove it $200,000 more than what the seller had originally thought they were going to get. And that ended literally last night in live time. So I'll show you that. But that's our pricing strategy, is we price at 15% below market. So we're getting maximum exposure for that home. It's a science of pricing. It's a simple fact. When somebody thinks they're getting a deal, everybody wants to come check that home out. And there's a certain psychology when you have a bunch of people, a bunch of buyers competing for the same property. It creates that bidding war, that buyer frenzy. And let me explain how that looks. I have a seller that says, well, wait a second. I don't know that I'm comfortable pricing my home 15% below market. Do you know that our contracts stipulate that the seller has the right to accept, counter, or reject any offer? So they're protected there. But what we do is I let the seller answer the question. I say, Mr. Seller, let me ask you, which home would attract more buyers? The home priced at 600, 7, or 800? And they always go, well, of course, property A. What is our job with an open house in the very beginning? What's our job when marketing a home? Is to drive as much buyer traffic to that home as possible. So when I show them this slide, they always go to property A, and that answers their own question. So then I go to this. I'll let them know, hey, guys, it's all about perception. There's 3 strategies for pricing. You price it high, you're going to attract less buyers. That's a simple math question. You price it at market, you're going to attract some more buyers. But if you price it below market, you're going to get maximum buyers, and therefore you're going to get a bidding war. And that is how our platform works. And let me explain it a little bit in detail. The benefits of our platform: it's a simple sales process that requires no negotiating on the part of the seller. Number one, that's always key. The question that I have for you, though, who pays the commissions in a real estate transaction? Most every single agent that I ask that question to, they always say the seller. And my response to that is with the buyer's money. The buyer writes the offer. They put their earnest money deposit, their down payment, their loan amount equals sales price. Sales price minus commissions equals seller's net. The buyer pays the commissions. Sure, it comes from the seller's net sheet, but it's the buyer paying it. So what we've come up with is a platform that shows the seller the buyers pay most or all of the commissions. I'll explain that in a second. The deadline, let me explain that. We typically list homes for 10 to 14 days. That's our marketing time. We'll list it, say, on a Wednesday. We'll skip this weekend, market it all the following week, and have a Saturday and Sunday open house. I find that that's the best. You will come across a landlord or two that has tenants to deal with, and maybe they only want to have a one-day open house or a small window on a Saturday or a small window on a Sunday. But the best opportunity is Saturday and Sunday. Saturday from 10 to 4, Sunday from 12 to 4 has been working fabulous for us. We're eliminating the carrying costs because our timeline is only 14 days. We get this property in and get it out. Sure, a cash offer done in 10 days is going to eliminate that quicker, but the seller is not going to make as much money. And at the end of the day, the sellers want the highest and best price. The sellers get a chance to receive true market value because the market value is different than appraised value. The appraised value that an iBuyer is going to give is what their opinion of that property is worth to them so they can make their most amount of money on the exit strategy. The market value is created by the buyers, not the agents, not the seller. The buyer is the one that creates the true market value. So if you have a seller that's a little ambitious with their price, which we've all run across that seller, this way we can show that we've driven market value. Here's all the offers we drove. Like last night, we had 51 offers. I can go back to that seller that maybe was a little ambitious and say, I think it's great that you wanted $1 million for your home. The market's spoken, it's only worth 942 because that true market value. So you arrive at a true market value. I mentioned it's no hassles. There's no random showings. It's by appointment only. And one thing I want to point out is these buyers are fully vetted, pre-approved, proof of funds before they can place an offer on our online offers platform. It's definitely less inconvenient for the seller. They don't have to keep their home clean, on weeks on end. Traditional real estate, part of the listing presentation of the old was, okay, now keep your home clean. Make sure you make the beds and do the dishes and make sure everything's all picked up every single day, because you never know when people are going to come by the home. That's a nightmare, and those days are over. So with for sale by owners, a lot of times what's happening is they'll pay a commission. They just don't want to pay a listing commission. So we show them a way that the buyer can pay for their own agent. Think about this. The sellers have always thought they're paying for the agent that's simple job is to negotiate against them. If we can show the seller a way that the buyer's paying the commissions, fantastic. And now remember, we're all just driving a sales price. So those lenders out there thinking, well, wait, buyers can't pay the commissions on a real estate transaction. We drive to a sales price, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second. Once we drive to that sales price, then the RPA, the purchase contract, is written, okay? So the FSBOs, the for sale by owners in particular, get no worries because our experienced staff handles all the advertising, all the marketing, all the exposure for their home. We handle the negotiations, we handle everything, and they're still only paying what they had originally paid out. So watch this. Everybody always says, well, how do you market the home? Just like any other agent would. We're realtors. We're just like every other agent on town. We just have a better platform, a better way to sell the home. Now, we advertise and promote to every single website on the planet, just like anybody else. Once you list the property in the MLS, it goes into the IDX feed and you're syndicated to Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor.com, and everyone else. So our advertising goes out to the world. But remember, we're priced 15% below, so we're going to get much more traffic. And here's what the traffic looks like at one of my recent open houses. Can you imagine what these buyers in the back are thinking? They're thinking, wait a second, this is a very popular property. If we have any chance of buying this home, we better get aggressive and really write a good, solid offer, right? So look at that traffic we're driving, and that's what sellers want to see. They want to see interest in their home because more buyers equals more offers, period. And when sellers get buyers competing against each other, the sellers are going to win. Now, here's how we do our open house. We do 15-minute by appointment only showings. Every one of these buyers have been asked a series of questions. Have they been pre-approved? Do they have proof of funds? Have they read the terms and conditions of our online offers platform, which I'll go over in detail in a minute? And every single one of these is 15 minutes. Let me go right here. So 15-minute increments. It is the best way to do an open house in a controlled environment. And this really came from the pandemic when we weren't allowed to do open houses, but we can't just not show the home. So we had to do 15-minute by appointment only. We've just stayed with this method and it works out beautifully. Because remember, guys, when buyers compete, sellers win. And I'm going to show you the online offers platform. But first, let me show you some marketing that we do. Now, sometimes we were talking to the sellers about paying 0% commission, but I wasn't getting as much traction on the 0% commission. Sellers thought it was too good to be true. I'm going to show you a way in a second how I can certainly package it where the seller doesn't pay any of the commissions, the buyer pays it all. So I changed it to 1%. And my phone started ringing off the hook because now it seems like there's something of value there, not just some gimmick or not some way to just get the phone to ring. So I left the 0% commission up top to show you that is it possible? Yes, but we find that it's more successful when the seller has a little skin in the game. But the biggest thing is you got to ask yourself, could you take a 0% listing and still get 6%? You sure can, and I'll go over that in a second. Now, here's the seller right here. This seller wasn't for sale by owner. Hi, this is Robert with eXp. I'm calling about your property at 4036 Camino Calma. Is it still available? She goes, yes, it is. I said, great. If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer's fee? She goes, nope, I'm not paying any commission to any agent. And a matter of fact, I'm not paying a home warranty. Now, that was a little random, in my opinion, but nonetheless, she was very crystal clear that she did not want to pay any commissions. She was listed for $635 in the in Zillow. Okay, she wanted $635. This property was a little beat up. It was a tenant-occupied property. They didn't take good care of the property. It didn't show well. It didn't smell well. It was kind of beat up. So she wanted $635, which I thought was a little ambitious for that seller. However, because of our platform and because our transparent online offers platform, with the success we're having, we're driving the sales price to and above that seller's goal price. So I said, let's do this. As you can see here, we got our $679. The buyer paid the 6% commission for a purchase price of $713,208. The seller gets this net, then the buyer adds the commission, and then the sales price is, in this case, $713,208. That is what the buyer would write their purchase contract at. So let me show you an example. Check this out. This guy right here, you can see all the bids, all the offers are transparent, and it drove up past that price. Here's the 4% or the 6%. And this is automatically calculated right here. It's automatically calculated in the platform, and it's disclosed to everybody that sees it, the buyer agent, the sellers, everybody gets to see this. You could go to this website right now and see all of this. As you can see, the buyer paid all 6%. The seller got her net. The buyer paid the commissions on top of what her goal price was, plus more. We blew past her goal, and the buyer paid, and the seller, everyone was happy. Let me give you another example. This one right here, we had 36 offers. This seller, she wanted $675. She was a for sale by owner. I asked her, if her home was available, if she's willing to pay the standard 3%. She goes, no, but I'm willing to pay 2%. Great. When can we schedule a Zoom call to go over your property in more detail? She goes, great, here you go. We had an amazing open house. This home was listed for 14 days. We had our open house. She only wanted one open house because it was tenant occupied, which is certainly fine. I mean, ideally, I like Saturday and Sunday, but this one was tenant occupied, so I can only have the one day on Saturday. We had a line around and up the street. This seller wanted $675. We got her $780. For those of you keeping score at home, that's $105,000 more than the seller wanted. The buyer paid the difference from 6% to the 2% the seller is willing to pay. This equates to 4%. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The seller wanted $675. She calls me up. This still has 2 hours. If you can see right here, you can't see it. It says ended. That is a clock, and it tells bidders exactly how much time is left to place their offer. Well, we had 2 hours left. The seller calls me up, Robert, we got our $675. All right, let's go to under contract. I said, Sheila, we still have 2 hours left. You'll see how many 2 hours we have right here. We still have 2 hours left. Allow me to let the buyers have more time because we still have 2 hours left. Let's let them continue their offers. see where it takes us. I knew she liked wine. She loved Chardonnay. So I said, Sheila, grab a Chardonnay, put it on the big screen. She had her Apple TV and she kept sending me photos. She sent me a photo and a video. It said 700,000. Oh my God, Robert, we're at 700. I said, Sheila, we're not done yet. Hang tight. She kept sending photos of every time a bid came in. Check this out. Not only do we get the 675 we wanted, we let the offers continue. And as you can see, they fully transparently bid against each other. Everybody can see this, whether you're registered for the platform or not. Everybody sees this in live time. So our offers are fully transparent. We ended up getting her 780. Again, that's $105,000 more than she ever dreamed of getting. And it's all right here. The buyers pay 4%, and it's all calculated. As you can see, the current offer, that's what it ended at. So that's what the seller nets is 780. The buyer's portion of what they're covering is bringing this. We used to call it a buyer premium. Now we call it agent compensation. And it brought the sales price to $811,200. The buyer is instructed, once the seller accepts the winning bid, the entire process will proceed like a traditional real estate transaction. All we're doing is driving a sales price. And that's all we're doing in real estate, is driving a sales price. Sure, there's contingencies. The buyers, when they register, they'll get a list of questions. Tell us about your buyer. Tell us about your inspections. Tell us if you're interested in waiving the appraisal or not. Tell us about your contingency of sale. We ask them to basically give us a snapshot of their buyer. But right here, it shows the 4% is being paid by the buyer, 2% is being paid by the seller, for a total purchase price of $811,000. It's all transparent, and it drives that price up to where we need. And remember, the sellers want the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of liability, hassle, and expense. We've accomplished that. We took a 2% listing, had 4% agent contribution, because remember, the agents, the buyers, they're the ones paying the commissions anyway. So it's not like we're pulling a fast one. We're fully disclosing it. We're just being transparent about the commissions. It's easy to get started for sellers. All they do is sign. Once I do the Zoom call and they get fired up, they see this, they go, oh my God, I love this. Let's do this. I say, great. I'll send them the DocuSign. I'll send them the contract. They'll sign it. The marketing begins typically that Monday, depending on when we take the listing. We do a 1 day or 2 day open house. This case, we did a 1 day Saturday, the following Saturday, but we do Saturday and Sunday. The offers begin after the open house. No one can place an offer until after the open house, and I've received proof of funds and a pre-approval letter. All offers are due that very next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Remember, if we don't get the seller's goal price, they can accept, reject, or counter. We accept the best offer, not necessarily the winning offer, but the best offer. That's traditional real estate. We put it under contract and then we get it closed. It's that simple. Here's kind of a timeline so you can visually see how we do this. We have the initial meeting, and then they sign the contract. We establish the purchase price and the commission amount. You prepare the home for the 1 or 2 day open house. The online offers start. They accept, counter, reject. They accept. They go under contract, and then they close. It's that simple. And here's the question I have for sellers. The world's finest art, classic cars, yachts, and antiques are sold using online platforms. So why not your home? HUD, VA, Fannie, Freddie, IRS, all the big banks use online offers platform to drive the highest and best price. So at the end of the day, my simple script is very simple. Use my proprietary marketing program where I drive all the advertising, marketing, exposure for your home, control when your home is shown, negotiate on your behalf, handle the entire transaction, get them top dollar, sold in 14 days or less, and they're only paying what they agreed to pay. Remember, the first seller example, she wanted to pay no commission. We showed her a way to get that done and still get her sales price. The next seller, she's willing to pay 2%. We bring 4% from the buyer for a total of 6%. It's all what the sellers want, and we get it done. So And I ask them at that point, if you're interested, let's get started. So my question is, there's lots of ways to work with us. You can continue to come to these events. You can come to our live events, our webinars, or you can become a team leader or mentor and actually learn this platform. Go out and take as many listings as you humanly can possibly take. Can you take another 10, 15, 20 listings? Who's ever had those family members over at Thanksgiving or Christmas? Hey, I understand I know you're in real estate and we're thinking of selling our home. Can you give us a deal? Can you give us a discount? That happens in every business, whether it's Lori giving discounts out for title. They're always asking us for discounts. The lender, hey, can you give me a break on my mortgage fees? Well, this way I can say, I can certainly do that. What do you have in mind? Well, I was thinking if you could list my home for 3%. Could I do it now and have no problem? You bet I could. I can make it up the delta with the buyer premium, with the agent compensation. So that is our platform. What I wanted to do is kind of share my screen real quick and show you what we did last night. This is one that came in last night. It's a property here in California. It just ended literally last night. We started down at 720. And then the bids came in only 1,000, 2,000. This guy wanted it, Mary here wanted to get aggressive and brought in 46,000. All that did is help our cause to get it up higher. But the minimum offer is 1,000. And you can see that all the other buyers see all the other buyers. So when Linda placed her offer, this one came in and outbid her. Well, then this one came in and then this one came in, and you can see there comes Eric, here comes Kenny. I mean, you've got some of the same faces now, and you've got ourselves a bidding war. And look at this. They're all bidding against each other, similar to what eBay's doing, where you can transparently see the different offers. The only thing is, our platform has an auto extend feature where when the buyer comes in at the last second, it automatically extends. So if the buyer comes in with the last 5 minutes, it automatically extends 10 more minutes to not only notify all the other bidders, but allows everybody to place an offer. So you can see, look at this, it just keeps on going. And then finally, it stopped at 906. The 906 represents the seller's net. Then we add the commission difference, right? It's all right here. See right here. And it explains the whole process. So this is a 2% listing plus 4% from the buyer for a total of 6% listing. The 4% is added automatically, and the total purchase price that the buyer would write their contract for is $942.40. $240. Go write your contract. It's that simple, and it's fully transparent. So this is one we did last night. It was absolutely fantastic. So, and here's the one that I give you an example about before, and you can see how we started down here in the 595 range and drove it up to way past the seller's goal and drove it up and and I did $5,000 increments on this one, and it just doesn't matter usually. I mean, I got 51 offers on the other property and only got 36 on this. That's okay. We drove $105,000 more for that seller, and it's fully disclosed. Everything is disclosed right here. Make sense? So that is kind of the online offers platform. It is fantastic. You got to ask yourself, if I could go out and take 5 listings this year more, would that be a benefit? If I could take 10, I'm sure Lori knows some agents out there that said, well, God, if I could take 10 more listings this year, that would change my outlook. That would change my business. Brian has a lot of agent friends that would ask themselves the same question. Could I take more listings? And the answer is certainly yes. Let's see. Let me go in here and show you how we get our leads real quick. Now, this is where I get the for sale by owners, the expireds, the canceleds, the probates. Like, for instance, this is this morning. This is live time. I'll pull these up real quick. There's a canceled right there. There's the the MLS number right there. There's the property address. There's the zip code, 623, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. There's the the seller's information, cell phone, Mrs. Seller's information, cell phone, email. Canceled, 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 expired, 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 canceled, FSBO. There's a $2 million FSBO right there. We get anywhere between 1 and 3.
Good question.
Yes, go ahead.
Good question. So these numbers here, have they been cleared to the do not call registries?
This one right here is the do not call registry right here.
Okay, so these are already vetted. Okay,
Yeah, they're already vetted and cleaned up.
excellent, cool.
Now,
Thanks.
a lot of them are in no call. I don't say anything about no text. And that doesn't say anything about no email. So it's just a fantastic way. And this is just today. There's 10 opportunities just today. And there was 10 opportunities yesterday. Right here. You had 10 opportunities yesterday. Sure, there's going to be 4 one day, 2 the next. There's 12 on this day. I mean, it's every single day. There's another set of opportunities. So the thing you need to ask yourself, all the other agents, oh, but there's a lot of agents calling them. Yeah, you're right. There's always been. Since I've been in the business, 1986, I went to a Mike Ferry seminar, and that's all they talked about is expireds and canceleds. Because before the MLS, way in the day, when it first went to online, you could see when it expired. So people were just pulling those up and calling them the day they expired. Now the expiration on the listing is now only viewable to the listing agent. But my point is every agent in the planet calling these? You bet. Does everybody in the planet have a system where they can go in there and say, listen, we can certainly do a 3% listing, a 1% listing. If somebody comes back to you and says, I'll do it, I don't want to pay any commission. Most agents are going to only spend time trying to convince that seller that they need to pay a commission and they're worth it. I'm great. And I'll do all this marketing, blah, blah, blah. If I go in there and say, fine, don't pay a commission, let's get started. They're like, oh, wait a second, is that it? I said, well, how do you get paid? I said, do you mind if the buyer pays the commissions? They're all, no, I have no problem with that. I'm like, okay, good. Because the sellers don't care as long as it's not them. And at the end of the day, guys, the buyer's the one's paying it anyway. So it's not like we're trying to pull a fast one on the buyer community. We're just explaining it in a different way. That's all. So it's fantastic. I actually had somebody say, is this legal? I said, well, of course it's legal. She was so too good to be true for her. She was like, oh my God, it's like her head exploded when she saw this. It's a fantastic platform. And if you can take another 1 to 2, 3 listings a week, what would your business look like? If you're brand new and you learned a system like this, what would your business look like when you first got started? So I'm going to go ahead and
I
open
just
it
had
up.
a couple of things I wanted to bring up. Christopher, you're kind of out there. Chris, can you hear us? And do you have any questions at this point?
Yeah, I could hear you guys. No, I actually have no questions. But well, actually, yeah, I do. Because this is EXP. I'm not in EXP. I'm in Piney Woods Realty.
Okay.
So I was wondering if this would be available for other real estate groups, or is it just for EXP?
I get that question answered a lot. And I look at it this way. Everybody knows who Tom Brady is. When he goes to the Super Bowl to play the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, the the Buccaneers have their playbook. And they're going to go against the Chiefs that have their own playbook. This is our playbook. This is what's allowing us to stand out, our unique selling proposition. So the short answer is this is available to only my team. And let me expand on that. This is not an EXP product. This is a my team product. So it's even more specific. It's my team, Brian's team, our team. You would be, if you were to come join us and take advantage of this platform, you would have access to this.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So Christopher, I have a question for you. And I know, Justin, you're just about to get started. What are you doing now to generate this? Are you cold calling expireds for rent by owners and for sale by owners, Chris?
Right now I am not.
Okay.
I'm trying to like get the word out by actually speaking to people like face to face. Like let's say I meet somebody and I just tell them what I do, or I ask them. Obviously, I try to like build a relationship with them and see what they do, and then they ask me what I do, and I tell them, and that's how I'm trying to. I'm practically doing it like word by mouth.
Okay. The reason I'm bringing this up, you can also do it in person if you wanted to go bang on doors. The reason I bring this up is of the 1.6 million agents in our universe, probably only 160,000 of them are making a living. The old 80-20 rule isn't even longer in effect. It's a 90-10 rule. Now, when I say making a living, in the Tampa area, you've probably got to make 100,000 just to have a normal life. In San Diego, you've got to make close to twice that. To do the numbers, and I bring this up to you, Chris, because I think it's important, numbers matter. To make that kind of 100,000, and of course you want to make more than that, but to make that 100,000, you're probably going to have to close about $4.5 million or $5 million in real estate. To do that in Hillsborough County, that's going to translate to about 15 closings a year, which means you've got to be listing 1 or 2 properties a month. You want to be closing 1 or 2 properties a month, probably closer to 2 properties a month. The ones that consistently close 2 properties a month are listing agents. They're not out there working with buyers, they're listing agents. So did you get into real estate to kind of dabble, or did you get into looking for something you can plug into that's going to get you up to that 100 or 150,000 mark?
Yeah, so what I was doing, I was trying to like actually make a career out of it, like have a living out of it. So I was like, because I know I wanted to do something that I could live off of. I didn't want to like just dabble in this and that. Obviously, yeah, not put all your eggs in one basket, but also like have something as my primary income maker.
And Chris, Brian, let me just share something real quick with what makes our group different. We have a website, Building Up Agents, and I'll send you out a copy of this. Our goal is to have the most productive group of agents in the business, period, hands down. So what I want you to do is go through this website that I sent you, or I will send you, and see what the benefits of our organization is and how we're helping our agents do exactly what Brian said, do a lot of business. You just add up, even if you just took 1 listing a week, that's far above the national average in terms of listing. That's 52 listings a year. So our number 1 goal is to have the most productive agents in business, and that's our top priority. We have 18 private coaches at our fingertips that help coach, train, and mentor all of our agents, whether you're brand new in the business or you've been in the business forever. We have exclusive listing tools. I only explained one of those today, but we have amazing listing tools that I can share with you in a minute. We have access to lead gen systems that are top of the line. We have so much more. So let me explain something real quick, our coaching. This right here sets us apart big time. This is our Meet the Coaches page. All these coaches are experts in their specific field, and it is no cost to any of our agents. And that's unique to us. This is not an EXP product. This is our home boss team. That's our team. We call our team across the nation. We have Bob Mangold, who's our team leader. He's our mentor. This guy is just brilliant. He's the one that came up with the online offers platform in its current form. We have Daniel David, who coaches on scripts and role playing, because you need to know the scripts. You need to role play those scripts. Like I mentioned, Tom Brady, he just doesn't show up at the Super Bowl and go win. He's got years of practice. He practices, and you need to practice your role playing and scripts. That's our running our plays for our business. We have land and new construction. I'm the online offers coach for over 1,200 agents. We have a 12-week year coaching and accountability coach. We have Tom Ferry coaches, Mike Ferry coaches, Club Wealth coaches, fix and flip. We've got lead generation coaches on using KV Core, our CRM, which in my opinion, KV Core is the best lead gen system in the business. We have buyer specialist coaches, Instagram.
Why, Robert?
What's that?
Why?
Why what?
Why is KV Core the best in the business?
KV Core is a lead generating system. Like most people have a CRM that's very hard to work with. Our CRM has more bells and whistles, landing pages, squeeze pages, textability, callability, emailing functions. I mean, it's just, that's a class in its own, but KV Core I've been in the business 36 years and I've had every CRM there ever's been. One thing about agents you'll know is we want the newest shiny object, and the CRM business is no different. And I found that KV Core has been the most user friendly, the most effective in terms of lead generation in the business. And it's for a normal agent to come in, just go get KV Core, you're going to pay upwards to $600 a month just for that system. And our company gives it to us, a part of our package. We pay $85 a month. It includes KV Core, includes your website, your IDX feed. It is, I mean, we have classes just on KV Core. It's that intensive a program.
And Robert, point out how much this coaching would cost them.
It doesn't cost a dime.
It doesn't
Right
cost
here,
a
no
dime.
cost.
Yeah. So
All
we're bringing experts to you in that suite too.
Yeah, all of these coaches donate 2 hours a week minimum to the agents to go in there and go into their coach. Here's their coaches hours right here. All you do is click on coaches hours. It goes right to their coaching hours and it tells you exactly where they are. Most of them come in on Tuesdays. We have a team suite, virtual team suite in the world, and all the coaches donate their time. So it's a fascinating way to, hey, listen, I've got some land coming up. I want to go talk to Thomas. You know, I want to do more production. You meet with our productivity coach. You know, we even got a Tony Robbins coach on our team that will help you get your head straight. I mean, there's lots of different ways to grow the business. So all these coaches are available to our team. So that's what sets us apart. Not only our lead generating systems, like our listing tools, like the Home Boss online offers platform that I explained, we have multiple other things. We have an Instagram expert that tells you how to drive 10 leads in 24 hours just using Instagram. So these are all available to you. Here's our listing tools right here that I kind of explained today, and I'm the coach for that. And could you ask yourself this? Could you take more listings if you could net the seller the most amount of money guaranteed? You could sell their home in 7 to 14 days and the seller paid zero commission. If any seller came to a traditional real estate agent and say, I don't want to pay any commissions, they'd spend their whole conversation trying to explain how they needed to pay a commission. We could say, fine, let's do it. We got that. No problem.
Hey, Justin, Google Thomas Mayhew, not Tom, even though that's what he goes by, but Thomas Mayhew and Thomas Mayhew Realtor. That's Mayhew. You'll get a kick out of it. He is in Ohio, and he's Amish. And when you watch his videos, you think of the Amish as sort of reserved, and he's a killer. I mean, he's a really great sales guy.
Thomas Mayhew, eXp Realty, Ohio. Just wanted to talk to you real quick about what I can help you with as far as from a coaching perspective. So I've done a lot of different things in real estate. I've sold a lot of different kinds of properties. I actually have an accredited degree as an engineer. So I've done a lot with surveying and geographic information systems and all sorts of things like that. And I have been very successful as a new construction agent working for a builder, selling homes. And so if you want to talk about new construction, or if you want to talk about development, you want to talk about land investment, that kind of thing, lenders, the whole process, come on in and see me. I'm happy to chat with you, happy to help. I'm just amazed at the value that in speaking with other coaches, and I hope to bring the same value to you if you have something along those lines you want to talk about. If you want to become a builder's rep, for example, well, I did that quite successfully, and I love my builder, and I can share with you some things that might be very useful to you in acquiring a builder and keeping them. So I'm here for you, and feel free to reach out anytime. Take care.
So that is just an example of one of our coaches. All these most all these coaches have their same video. It talks about what they do and how they can help you grow your business. And it doesn't cost not one penny. And that sets us apart, so far apart from any other brokerage out there, that it's just amazing. I mean, I've been in the business a long time. I think I'm pretty well traveled. I'm in talking to these guys all the time. I'm especially talking to James at KV Core. Let me just give you his quick video. It takes 2 seconds. Watch this.
Hey there, folks. Wanted to take a quick minute to introduce myself. My name is James Cottrell. I've been with eXp Realty for a little over 3 years. I am a licensed real estate broker here in California. Been in the industry since about 2000.
Well, it doesn't show his video, so we're gonna stop that. His video's not. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Let's show this real quick.
One of the things that I'm super excited about in real estate is the technology aspects of everything. So what I do is I do train and coach agents on KV Core, which is an amazing platform that we are all privileged to use here, being with eXp Realty. So love how that works, strategizing it in your business to not only communicate with your clients, but obtain future business. So look forward to chatting with you guys sometime in the near future. Again, my name's James, and thanks so much for taking the time.
So you get the point. It's all of our coaches are available to us. I mean, it's just absolutely blows my mind the amount of resources we have, not only for the new agent, but for the agents that are, experienced, that have been in business a long time. Diane's that coaching question. Brian, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, did I answer that coaching question?
I think so, yeah. I think I can actually get into the weeds with it, with these guys
Good.
in a follow-up.
So
Let's see if they haven't.
What I'm going to do is I'll send everybody an email. They can just kind of check it out. But I know there was a question when I talked about REO. A lot of agents don't know what REO is if you're new. REO is bank-owned foreclosures. And that's when like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, any corporate seller bank, they also have listings that they need to sell. If they take a home back in foreclosure, they need experts like us that know exactly how to sell that type of product. It's no different than regular real estate in terms of a seller needing a good agent. Make sense? So any other questions? Let's go to the chat room. Let's see, we've got any other questions? Let's see. Oh, okay. Now you talked about, Justin talked about, you guys coach on teaching the functions of the MLS. Here's our training, coaching, and mentoring. This is what I'm a certified trainer with eXp, and we cover that very thing right here. We'll teach the agents how to use the MLS. We'll teach the agents how to be proficient in navigating that MLS. Each MLS is different across the country. So a lot of the local MLSs have stellar training on MLS, but we certainly help you as well. We want you to become the market expert in your market. You want to know what's going on. We walk you through the purchase contract, the listing agreement. We walk you through everything, whether it be iBuyer, REO, for sale by owners, expired, Instagram, and much more. So there's a lot of tools that we can help you with, because our number one goal is to help the new agent get started in the business and start gaining momentum. Because the biggest thing is we want to teach those. It's really easy to learn bad habits. We want to kind of eliminate that and learn from our mistakes. Trust me, we've made many mistakes along the way, and we want to share those with our new agents.
He used the word stellar MLS, that phrase. That's actually the name of our MLS here.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, stellar
Well, there
MLS.
you go. There you go. Yeah.
So what I thought we'd do now is just kind of see if Justin and or Chris or Lori have any other questions. And if not, then we'll wrap it up, and I'll follow up with these guys tomorrow on the phone.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've been in the business since '04. I was an agent for 12 years before I got into title. And I have to say, I am thoroughly impressed by what I just saw today. That is just fantastic. It blows my mind. So congratulations on putting that together. I mean, there's definitely no one else doing anything close to that. So that was super impressive.
Well, you know what? We're absolutely, we do one-on-one phone calls, Zoom calls. We do group coaching like we're doing here. So anytime you have an agent that would love to know more, please let us know.
I absolutely will. Brian and I are building a great relationship here in Tampa, so we'll get together and talk about some of that stuff a little bit more.
Awesome. Very awesome.
How about you, Chris? Do you have any other questions?
No, I'm actually good right now. Everything was clear. Thank
Okay.
you.
And Justin?
And I just want to back up, and I appreciate what Chris said about, building relationships and essentially farming. I know that takes more time to kind of reap those listings, but FSBOs, I understand that is the lowest hanging fruit out there. So I'm looking forward to talking to you more, Brian.
Cool.
One thing you gotta remember as a listing agent, or just as an agent in general, there's 3 types of agents. There's a buyer agent, a listing agent, and then there's a hybrid agent. Hybrid works with buyers and sellers, which is certainly okay. Any one of those is fine. But I find that being a listing agent, I can go out and take 4 listings to every buyer I'm working with. Because the buyer, you're taking, like Brian mentioned earlier, you're showing 10, 15, 20 properties, and then you're writing, 4, 5, 6, 10 offers, and it just takes a long time. That same amount of time, if you focus your efforts in that same time block window, you can go out and take 4 or 5 listings in that same amount of time. So I would much prefer working with sellers. And because a lot of agents, when they first get started, they say, oh, go work with buyers, it's easier. I strongly disagree with that, because it's much more labor intensive. You need to know, it's just, time is money. And if you're wasting it on driving people around, showing them all these homes, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. So a lot of the agents that join our team, is they're buyer agents that want to transition to a listing agent, because they've already, created the brain damage of working with buyers. And it's certainly a very profitable thing to do, but it's so labor intensive. And most every buyer agent that's already gone through that system, they can't wait to transition to a listing agent.
Robert's more patient than I am. I don't want to work with experienced agents. They're some of them maybe, but I don't need to. I can't get people's bad habits out. Like like you, Chris, Justin, you guys are coming into this thing. I know what works. This is positioned. Like, you have to list if you're going to last. It's more pronounced now. Like, you can work with a buyer every now and then if you want, but it's so much easier to get a referral fee by handing it out to another agent and saying, take care of my client. And you will get buyer's leads on these open houses. I showed up at one, when I'm in California, I usually find out which open houses we're doing, and I am stunned by the amount of people that come through. So you'll get unrepresented buyer's agents that come in, you register them, you farm them out to, you farm out to an agent who doesn't mind working for 60 grand a year, and you give it to him. And you go on and you make $200,000-$300,000 a year by staying focused and listing property and providing the bait, right? The listing that all the buyers come to.
And Brian, our open houses, we're yielding on average 17 unaccompanied, ready to rock and roll buyers that we're farming out to our buyer team. Because I have a handful of buyer agents that work on my team that's just what they just like doing it. They love showing property. They love that part of it. And that's certainly okay. It's not my thing, but there's a place for everyone. I find that once you go through that process, you're going to want to transition. So like Brian, I work with agents that got their license that currently don't even have their license. They're going through my mentor program as they get their license. And I have agents that have been in the business longer than me. So we work with anyone that has an open mind that wants to go out there and make things happen. This works for them. And I love what you said,
My
Brian.
language, cool.
I love what you said, Brian. It said, I've said this for so long and I totally forgot, I haven't said it in a long time. You list, you last.
That's it.
That's just the way it is.
Now. And so it's not even like a trite saying anymore. In the next 5 years, if you list, you'll survive. if you're just working with buyers, you're going to be out of the business in 5 years. And those of you that are on my email list, I'm sending out my Friday emails that are coming out. You'll see that tomorrow, an article that came out that just scared the crap out of me. And just now, it scared me enough to go, we have to get focused on this only. And so anyway, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to call you both tomorrow and see what you thought, and we'll figure out what to do. And Chris, if you're happy where you are, that's good. Maybe we'll just split deals with you down the road. I don't know, but we'll come together and figure it out.
Cool. Hey, Lori, hey, Chris, thanks so much for jumping on. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say thank you. It was great. I appreciated this.
No problem. And Lori, don't keep this a secret. Tell your agents.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm very impressed.
Hey guys, have a great day. Brian.